afternoon, Facebook, YouTube. How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy with Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SportsHustle. We got some breaking news coming in to our sports room. We're gonna talk about that here in just a second. But before we do, make sure you click that like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you share this to all your social media platforms. Again, make sure you comment. You know the house rules. Comment. Let me know you watching and let me know where you watching from. So again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy with Kendrick Sports Hustle. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you like and follow Kendrick Sports Hustle on Facebook, as well as you can follow my personal Facebook profile, Kendrick Roland Henderson. You can like and follow me there as well. And you can follow me on Instagram at Kdrick1969, as well as on TikTok, Kendrick Henderson 51. So I'm gonna see if a couple of people gonna jump in. Hope you all are having a great start to your week. It's Monday, Monday is the toughest day of the week because you just coming off your 2-day weekend and you got to get back in the flow of things. But once you get Monday out the way, it's kind of smooth sailing for the rest of the week. At least we think so. At least we hope so. That's what we're gonna put that in the universe. We're gonna have smooth sailing, just like the Isley brothers sing. It's nothing but smooth sailing tonight. Well, today. So we're gonna do that. So let's go ahead and jump right in this thing. Make sure again, if you come in, you watching this, make sure you like this. You comment so I know you're watching. The whole talk over the weekend was about UConn's Dan Hurley. Would he stay or would he leave? And he said he would make his decision on Monday. Well, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski was the first to break it, and Dan Hurley has decided to stay in Stores, Connecticut, and still be the UConn men's head basketball coach. He turned down a 6-year, $70 million offer to become the next head coach of the Lakers. He had flew in. The Lakers flew him out on Thursday of last week. They would meet Friday, and then he would fly back to Stores, Connecticut on Saturday morning, where he would mull his decisions. He did talk to his team, and he did talk to UConn prior to him flying out to meet with Jenny Buss, who is the owner and governor of the Los Angeles Lakers, as well as Rob Pelinka, who's the president of basketball operations and general manager of the Lakers. He did talk to his team, his players, and he did talk to the university. The university would come with somewhat of a counter offer. Well, I guess it was an offer. They offered him an extension and a little bit more money, which would make him one of the highest paid men's basketball coaches in the country. And so that offer stands. I think the numbers for that is roughly he would be around $8 to $9 million a year. So that is the new deal, according to reports that Dan Hurley has now as the UConn men's head coach. Again, he is coming off of back-to-back national championships at UConn. The first hadn't been done since the Florida Gators did it in 08-09. He's building that program again. We all know the history of the UConn men's and women's programs. They have Jim Calhoun took that program to a whole nother level. And again, Dan Hurley is now back-to-back, and he's looking to three-peat. He wanted to give it a shot. Hurley's 51. He has been at UConn for 6 seasons. He has 141-58 record. Again, he's coming off that national championship just this past April. And he has a top 5 recruiting class coming in. He's losing a couple of star players from this year's championship team, but he's stacked. He's got a lot coming up. And he's decided the college game is where he wants to be. Now, I was reading that one of his goals is to eventually coach in the NBA eventually, but I guess the Lakers just wasn't that team. And we know the Lakers is a storied franchise. When you talk about being a head coach of a NBA team, you know, the Celtics, to bring him in again. They made that's what Hurley would tell ESPN. He would talk to them, I believe, on Friday. He said that the Lakers did make a compelling case with a compelling vision, but I guess it just wasn't enough to lure him away from Storrs, Connecticut. Six years, 70 million. That's a nice little piece of change. But guess it just wasn't enough. Now let's talk about what's next for the Lakers. Who do you go to now? You know, all the reports have been pointing toward J.J. Redick being the top candidate. Is he still the top candidate? Is he going to be the guy that they turn to now? Because guess what? The NBA draft is right around the corner, June 26th, June 27th. And I would assume that Jenny Buss and Rob Pelinka would want to have a head coach in place. But right now, it's getting close. We're talking, this is what, June 10th now. So we're basically talking about almost 2 weeks away. And so they got to figure out what's their next move. We know they've already interviewed some candidates. Sam Cassell was a Boston Celtic assistant. James Borrego, New Orleans Pelican assistant. Who else? It's a couple of other names. I know one of the assistants for the Nuggets has interviewed as well. So they've already interviewed some candidates. And J.J. Redick, again, that's what, in my mind, I think he's probably the number one candidate. Again, he has no head coaching experience, but he knows X's and O's. You know, he and LeBron James are buddy now with that Mind the Game podcast that they host. So I'm quite sure J.J. Redick probably is like at the top of the board now for the Lakers to try to get him in there. My thing with J.J. Redick, I think he, you know, even though he doesn't have any head coaching experience, it's a lot of former players that didn't start off as head coaches, but they paid their dues as assistants. That's the only thing. J.J. Redick hasn't been an assistant coach. So him coming in on the fly, being a head guy, I hope hopefully he would assemble a staff with some experience, even if it's just some that may be top assistants for some other NBA teams. Because I think he's going to need that help. The one thing I think that does go that goes in his favor is he probably can connect to these NBA players now. He's not that far removed from the league. He's only been out the league, I want to say, maybe 2 years. So he's still connected to a lot of these players. And I say this, that coaching is X's and O's at the NBA level, but it's also about having a connection to these players too. Can you connect with them? Can they respect you? Can you see where they're coming from? Can you relate to them? And I think that's part of coaching, especially when you talk about at the professional level. So the Lakers got some heads. They got some things to do. You know, LeBron James, that date is coming up too, June 30th, when he will decide if he's going to opt in or opt out his player option, which I think is $51.4 million. If he decides to opt out, then he becomes an unrestricted free agent. So I know the Lakers are really trying to figure out how, you know, they want to keep him, you know, he's their star. They want to keep him around to at least maybe draw other players in. And Anthony Davis, you probably want to try to, you know, make sure he's good. So yeah, the Lakers are they find themselves in a precarious position right now, so to speak. So what's next? I don't know. We'll see. But again, the breaking news: Dan Hurley has decided to stay at UConn and look to go for a three-peat there, and be the first. I think that would be the first time any time in history that a college. No, I think UCLA maybe won 3 in a row back in the 70s. I think they did. So it wouldn't be the first time. I could be wrong, but they're looking to do that. Again, the Lakers, they got to figure this thing out. LeBron James and Rich Paul, I'm sure they say that they're not involved in this coaching search, but I don't believe that. He's always been involved, LeBron James, outside of when he was with the Heat, because, you know, Pat Riley wasn't having that. But he's always somewhat had some sort of involvement in players' movement and coaches and all that stuff. So we'll see. And speaking of coaches, former Lakers coach Darvin Ham, just to piggyback off of this, it is the top assistant for Doc Rivers in Milwaukee. He's headed back to the Bucks. You know, he was there on Mike Budenholzer's staff for 4 years. He was on the staff that when the Bucks won the NBA championship in 2021. Then he will come out here for 2 years, but he's headed back to familiar ground. My born city, Milwaukee. He's going to be Doc Rivers' top assistant. He did, according to reports, Ham did turn down position with Mike Budenholzer in Phoenix. I think I read that 2 weeks ago. So just to talk about the Lakers, the former Lakers head coach, Darvin Ham, is headed back to the East. He's going to be Doc Rivers' top head coach, top assistant head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks. And the Lakers situation, back to their coaches, the coaches that they've been through in the last, 7, 8 years. I was just thinking Byron Scott, Mike Brown, Luke Walton, Frank Vogel, Darvin Ham, and I think I'm missing somebody. I think it was 6 of them that they have gone through since I want to say 2015, 2016. So they've been through quite a few coaches in the last couple of years. So we're gonna see what happens with the Lakers. What's their next move? Just keep it locked here for all your sports news and entertainment and breaking news and live streams and all that. But again, Dan Hurley staying in UConn, staying in the Big East, looking to go for that three-peat at the men's college level. And speaking of college level, I want to make this point. I can kind of understand why Hurley decided maybe it's not the right time and maybe the Lakers just isn't the right fit as far as what they got. Because a lot of college coaches that made that transition to the NBA hadn't fared well, except only one. A couple of that come to my mind that didn't do well was Rick Pitino. He did okay with the Celtics and Knicks, but it was average. John Calipari with the Nets, it was so-so. Then Tim Floyd from Iowa State with the Bulls. That was a straight disaster. So again, college coaches hadn't fared well when even the great ones like the Patinos and the Caliparis to make it to that next level. So we'll see. But now Billy Donovan, who was with the Thunder for some years and now with the Bulls, I think he's had the most success transitioning from college basketball to the NBA. Again, he was the coach that won the back-to-back with the Florida Gators. So I think, in my opinion, I think Dan Hurley made the right choice. I think he was comfortable with that. I think he was looking at what he has coming back and what he's got coming up. And then he got a little bit of a salary boost too. The pressure isn't as much. The spotlight isn't as harsh there as it will be in LA. And sometimes timing is everything. And maybe this wasn't the right time for Hurley, and maybe he just didn't think it was the right fit for him. So we'll see. Who knows? So again, breaking news coming out of Kendrick Sports Hustle. Dan Hurley is staying at UConn. He did turn down the Los Angeles Lakers head coaching position. He turned down a 6-year, $70 million deal. So again, that's your breaking news. You guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. Again, keep it locked here for all your sports news, entertainment, and live streams. And tune in on tomorrow at 4 o'clock p.m. where I come in and give you my Tuesday sports hustle. Just a quick 15, 20-minute rundown of what's happening in the sports world. We may mention a little bit more about this Dan Hurley thing, and we'll talk about some other things. We'll talk about the Celtics and the Mavs. That series now is 2-0. Celtics up. They play again on Wednesday. And the Mavericks, the pressure's on. They got to get this game 3 at home now. So we'll see what happens with that. Again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. You all have a good day. We will see you on the other side. And on the next report, I am out. Peace.